My name's Bo. I've been in Durham for a little over 5 years now. And I'm originally from California, moved all around to Oregon, New Mexico, and then finally here. I'm a teacher at the Lakewood Montessori School down the road and teach humanities. I play music. I don't know. That's part of who I am. And part of Durham Community Fridges. We started this fridge project back in 2021. I don't remember. I think it's 2021. I think we started the fridge in 2021. And it took about a year to get started. And now we've got 2 locations, one at Parcel here in the Lakewood neighborhood, and one at St. Joseph's Episcopal Church, behind Whole Foods off Main Street. So. Yeah, we're a mutual aid project. Just community members who had a fridge, saw a need. Some of us work at a food hub. Most of us in the group work at a food hub, so they have access to some good local quality produce. But then we just came together and decided to put some fridges out for people to access 24/7, no questions asked.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What was?
At the time it was the pandemic, and I guess still is. But at the time we were in lockdown, and I don't need to get all into that. Everybody remembers hopefully how that went. But just the food insecurity around Durham and everywhere is just really, really high, especially in this neighborhood in East Durham. There's just a lot of food insecurity and high food needs. So we all saw it, and we're all trying to find a way to get involved in some way. I originally started with Food Not Bombs 919 chapter. We did that for maybe 6 or 8 months, and then eventually we started the Durham Community Fridges project. Yeah. I think the seed for me, and I think for a lot of the group, is that, for everyone in the group, is that food is a right and not a privilege. And, under capitalism, if things cost money, which everything does, it's inherently exclusive. So, we believe that food should be available to everybody, no matter who you are. Mm-hmm. And so that's our goal with the fridges. They're open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And, we don't surveil, we don't ask questions. Anyone can participate and use the fridge at any hour of the day.
Wonderful.
Use it, or donate as well to it. So anyone can take, anyone can donate. We have some guidelines for what those, what you can and can't, or should and shouldn't donate. We don't take raw meat. It's just not safe. We have certain rules about expired products. We do get some technically expired things from some grocery stores around, but we have certain rules that we follow, anything that's past 2 days past the expiration date, we throw out. Anything that's homemade and brought to the fridge, we give it about 5 days, and then that leaves. Other rules include no medications, no alcohol, nothing that's visibly molding or just kind of gross, like slimy greens or things that you wouldn't eat. Don't we would, if we found them in the fridge, we would take them out.
Mm-hmm.
So things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We are not a nonprofit, and we're not a profit either. So nonprofit. We are just like horizontally led. We're just a bunch of friends who like organize together. There's nothing formal within the group as far as like how we make decisions, though I want that to change a little bit. We're going to start implementing those kind of things hopefully soon, because we're trying to grow, and so hopefully those formalized decision-making processes will help with that growth. But yeah, right now we're all horizontal, consensus decision-making. It's very scrappy, and that's how we like it, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, so our first fridge was Taylor's fridge in his house, and he and his partner were getting a new fridge, and he had seen some fridges around, namely like the Philadelphia fridge and New York fridges and the Atlanta fridge, and he just decided there wasn't one in Durham, and he just had the idea. I think he and Darren were the first two people who I think were the ones who had the idea, and then he was just getting his friends involved. And so, I jumped in, Kate jumped in, and then it was kind of a funny story. We were trying to create a Facebook group, and there was already a Durham Community Fridges group, and we're like, there are no fridges. Who are these people? So we messaged them, and it was Shar and Mary, who had started, I think, either in 2020 or 2021, their own fridge group, and so we just merged our groups together, and yeah, so that's how we kind of expanded a little bit. So yeah, now it's for the fridge. So both fridges right now are living in a structure that, and we procure all the materials for the structure, really everything we can get by donation.
Mm-hmm.
We're like entirely volunteer and donation based, like very intentionally. If there are people who want to donate actual money, we usually like redirect that towards other like mutual aid projects who require money, bail funds, or like rent, help with rent kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Like North Durham Mutual Aid does a lot of that kind of stuff. But sometimes we do need to like buy materials like wood or what have you for the structures. And so yeah, we get wood and structures, and then we just like build the structures for the fridge to live in to protect it from the elements. Lachlan over at St. Joseph's actually designed and like built their structure, and then our team, with the help from Fred, built this structure. And actually, not like 3 days ago, this wasn't here, and the second fridge wasn't here, and we just like, this pantry was over there, and there's no second fridge, and so we just threw this up. It's not the best, but I think it works.
Yeah. Yeah.
As far as like food stuff that we get for the fridge, we partner with a lot of local businesses, local restaurants and catering companies. We partner with different local nonprofits, and get like their food that they receive. A lot of community members bring food by. Like they'll either get food from the fridge that's like raw vegetables or bread, or bring it home and make actual just like ready to eat meals and then put them back in the fridge, which is pretty cool. It's like really, in my eyes, the real heart and soul of like what this whole project's about is like community coming together, taking care of itself. The mutual aid idea that we have is that like we all acknowledge we have needs, but we all have the ability to care for each other and bring something to the table to make sure all our needs are met. So yeah. Yes and no at the same time. We got St. Joe's because it was like what we could get. Though we are also like fortunate that there is a high need there. There's also a high need here in the Lakewood neighborhood, but there's high need all over, and we are actively trying to get a third location in the East Durham, Atai area, and so that we're like working with a couple places trying to get fridges in. We're also working to get a fridge over near the like North Gate kind of colonial garden, I think is what it's called, area, like off Roxborough, which would also be very cool. There's a lot of foot traffic over there. So yeah, I mean, all places have need, but also like we're not in the places with the highest need, but we're in places with need. It's yeah. I don't know. Biggest challenge for us, and I think I would assume for most people, would be getting someone to allow you to put it in a space. It took us about a year to actually get an okay, yes, put this fridge in this space. And it's not usually the business owners who have the issue. We talked to a lot of business owners who wanted a fridge. The problem for us was finding the landowners, like their landlords, who would allow a fridge to be on site. Fortunate for us, through a business owner, encountered St. Joseph's, and they own the property that they're on, and so they could actually decide whether or not they wanted the fridge. And they are very food justice oriented. They have a breakfast and a community garden program. So both of our projects really aligned perfectly, both of us. So that was our first fridge. And then T at Part and Parcel also really wanted a fridge, and they got the okay. Maybe they own the property. I actually don't know how that happened. We're about to have our year anniversary, I think in a month or two here. So yeah, the hardest part is getting the landlord to say yes, okay. But once you have that, it's kind of like whatever fits your community best. We decided, and you don't have to do this, but we decided we needed a roof to protect it from the sun and protect it from the rain, obviously. You don't have to. I've seen fridges where they don't have a cover. I don't know how well that works. We have a pantry for dry goods. It's good to have doors on those, just for like pests, I guess. What else? Something that's not south-facing or east-facing, because the fridge needs to be cold during the summer. The sun hits it. We had this issue at St. Joe's. It is a like east-facing fridge, and then so the sun in the morning hits it, and for like 4 or 5 hours the sun is just directly on it. So we had to get ice packs that like will freeze, and then like put some in the fridge, and then like we'll swap them out to keep the fridge cold during the summer months. But one another thing, there's a lot of little details. You can't use an outdoor outlet for an indoor fridge. We were having this issue where I'm not an electrician, but the electricity level didn't match the need for what the plug could accommodate, so it just kept tripping. So we had to put an indoor outlet on the outside. So I forget what they're called. They're the ones with the little push, the little push. Mention that. That is one stipulation of our partnership, is that the business or whoever is hosting the fridge pays for the electricity. It's around $15 a month, $12 to $15 a month for the electricity. So they are graciously donating that money for that. That's our approach and the way that we handle it. Though, we do get offered like monetary donations, and I know a lot of people show up when we do call for monetary donations for, like, say we need a new fridge handle. I'm sure we could put a call out and get the money for a fridge handle. $92 for a fridge handle. It's absurd. It's true. That's how much it costs for that fridge handle that was broken. Luckily, I got some epoxy. I epoxied it. So we didn't have to pay for one. But, maybe the community wherever else would, pay for the electricity at the source price. Yeah, well, people speak all kinds of languages. And if we could, I imagine other languages would probably be as necessary as Spanish. But I think English and Spanish are probably the two most common languages that we encounter, and our real main goal for all of it always is accessibility. So hence the two languages. We tried really hard. This is another thing about like the actual physical layout is like access, like ADA access. So like this fridge comes up right up to the edge, and someone who uses a wheelchair could maybe potentially, it's probably not ADA accessible because of the sign, I guess, but we tried to keep that in mind as much as possible, to make sure that everyone has access. The 24 hours a day, 7 days a week was like a non-negotiable. Another priority for the fridge group is dignity. And so, all the signs aren't just like, don't do this, like, and we don't want to have like people monitoring the fridge all the time. So having visible signage and everything around the fridge just allows people to interact it with in their own time, whatever time they can get there at their own, ability. So, access, dignity, all that. Anyone can interact with the fridge. It doesn't. Yeah, we're not needs-based. We ask no questions. You just show up. You put things in, or you take things, or we have QR codes. We have an Instagram for you to like reach out to us. Those are the best way. We have an email. So we want the community to be invested in it as much as they want to be, and it's been very well received. And we're still finding people who don't know about it, so it's like it's really cool to know that like we're still growing and expanding within the community. Anyone can use it anytime. Doesn't matter if you got a full pantry at home or if you don't have a pantry at all. Our values, if I can just like speak from the heart, are food access. Food is a right, not a privilege. Just everyone has the right to food. We all believe beyond that, but this is a food project. Dignity and access to all those things. And I feel like everything else kind of like comes after that as like core tenets of what we believe in. We believe in a free Palestine. Our oppression in America is linked to their oppression. That's the sign of it. All oppression is linked. So yeah, that's also written explicitly in our guidelines. We don't believe in surveillance, and we don't believe in partnering or calling law enforcement if someone's having some sort of crisis. People have a lot of, many people have negative relationships with the police, and we don't believe in the carceral state. And so that's one of the big things that we believe in as a group. And so part of partnering with a place is communicating all of these things like before you get your fridge in place, which we had to learn over time to like really pin down what you believe in as a group, write down all of the things, and make sure that the place that you are going to put a fridge also is in line with all those things. And so we were fortunate at Parcel and St. Joe's, like we've all come together in an understanding that we're not going to partner with law enforcement. Not looking to get anyone arrested or killed. So, for trying to get food. Yeah, well, this might be, as a group, we haven't discussed this, but to me, it's like whenever money is exchanged for something in our system, people are profiting off of it. Like if we were to get like monetary donations, and then we go to Food Lion and buy some food, like Food Lion's profiting off of this, and so we don't we don't have guidelines for how people acquire their food and donate it. I'm sure a lot of people purchase food and donate it, which is great, but a lot of the food we're getting is just donations from businesses. But yeah, it's hard because we live under capitalism, so we have to buy things. But we're trying to eliminate the whole food, or not the food. We're trying to eliminate the exchange of money as best we can, because we don't think we need that. Then there's so much abundance. Trying to work from the abundance mindset rather than the scarcity mindset. And so that's part of what's great about an empty fridge, is that if you have the abundance mindset, you know that more food is coming. And so it's just, I have to constantly try to rewire my brain towards that abundance mindset. So hoping that more people are doing that too. I honestly don't really know what that word means. I don't know. It is a form of community care. I don't know. I guess activism. I guess it is. I don't think of it as that, as activism. I think of it as like, I'm a part of this community. Taking care of other people in the community is essential. I'm also taking care of me. We're all connected. So yeah, I don't see it as activism. I guess activism feels like singular almost, and this is like very collective. I'm just like one person in the collective, connected. I don't know. Yeah, I think we're all we have. And I mean, since before then, but I think COVID really just made it so obvious to me that we are all we have. Whether it's like public health, whether it's just public safety in general, access to things, like there's no incentive for any of our governmental or corporate structures to take care of us. And so I believe that community care is all we got. And it's hard because we all work our 9-to-5 jobs in our group. Like, everyone works, and so like we use the time that we can to try to invest that. I wish we could spend more time doing it, and really develop that community care, and like really use that as the central focus, North Star guiding light. But yeah, that's where we are right now.
Mm-hmm.
This is gonna sound wrong, but it's like this is a failure. This shouldn't exist, is what I feel like, you know, or it shouldn't exist in this form of just like a handful of people getting this old fridge together and putting it out on the street. It's like sustainability requires everyone to like buy into the community collective. I don't know, maybe I'm getting like too much in my head about this, but that's where I see this going. I see like things are not going well, and they're getting worse every moment, and I just think like stuff's gonna hit the fan. And we have to be there for each other as best we can. I don't know if that answered your question, or if that makes any sense, but in order for it to be sustainable, is we all need to lean on each other, and not rely on the structures that are in place. Like, I don't know, there's so many structures in place that say they serve the community, but they don't. Yeah. Yeah, I was thinking about this not too long ago. I read this book called Everything for Everyone, which is like a reimagining. Not a reimagining. It is an imagining of the future. I don't know if you've read it. But it's by Ayman Abdelhadi and someone else. Sorry, someone else. And it inspired me to think about, what could the future look like? What are we all building toward? And I guess like, if I'm focusing solely on the fridge project, I want like a corner store. You just walk in and the food's just free, and you just go get it. And I guess that's what this is. So it's like a small, like 2024 version of a free store, I guess. So we're like actively trying to just like live the future that we want to see in this really small way. Yeah, I think like I have changed a lot over the last 6 years, a lot, and I think like part of the fridge coming to fruition is part of that change, and I feel like I'm like changing in time with and without the fridge. So yeah, it's like just gotten me further and further in the community care world. There's a lot more to do. But yeah, we are getting people in our email asking for us to put a fridge there, and so we're very slow and deliberate with our location selections, because you're setting up a space for someone and inviting people to come. Like, you need to ensure that it's going to be safe for them, hence the no cops, hence the no surveillance, and all just the conversations around access and ADA accessibility especially. But yeah, it's going well. It's well received, and there's a lot of like businesses that want to partner with us. But again, we're running into the landlord issue. Yeah, I think like I don't know. It's hard because I feel like it's really important, but it's also really not enough at all. So in some ways, it's like it feels like a really really cool project, and maybe some people would think it's like really hard, but you know, we're just like I'm a teacher, and like people work at a produce hub, and like some of us like you know just like have regular jobs. Like it's you can do it. That say, it is a lot of work, but it's all like so valuable. I don't know. I don't know if this is good or smart, but it's like anyone can do it. Anyone should do it, and but you do have to be like in it for the long haul, which the sustainability part comes in there. So